Hey guys, so this is a little bit of an update on my front patio situation. You can see the peas are starting to get a little bit of what I think is probably powdery mildew going on because it's been hot and rainy and humid. And they are a cold weather loving plant. I still have a lot of really nice peas coming on, and I'm going to keep it going as long as I can. I'm going to cut those and put them in a salad tonight, I think. Have some petunias trying to bloom. But things are just generally looking a little toasty out here, a little sad. Monday we're going to get the rest of the garden put in, so these will go in the ground out at the family garden in the ground. But this is my lettuce planter, at least that's what I use it for in cooler weather. I am going to reset it for the summer, and it's going to have peppers in it. But I wanted to give you guys this opportunity to see what things look like when they are starting to go to seed and they are done, because the weather has shifted, the seasons are changing. These pansies are kind of a problem. I didn't expect them to continue doing this well once it was 85 degrees on the regular, but I think because they're in here under cover, this is a brick entryway to my front door, and especially in that back corner they stay probably cooler. So I don't have the heart to completely kill them off. I will probably put a few in cups and save them and put them back out next fall, but I have to clear this out because I need the space for peppers. My bok choy is doing really well. I might leave that in here for a little bit longer, but you can see this is my spinach. It's long ago bolted, and just now is it going to seed. I've left it because it tasted okay even though it had bolted, and it was continuing to produce leaves. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim it all down and put it in salad, and it will be the end for the spring spinach. I wish that I could leave it long enough to produce seeds and save them, but I just have too many other things going on this year, in this season. This is the Ice Queen lettuce that I have loved so much. It still tastes pretty good even though it's bolted. A lot of lettuce tastes pretty yucky. Once it bolts, it goes really bitter. But this still tastes mostly okay. It's not as good, but it didn't go super bitter. And you can see it's also fixing to flower and put out lots of seeds. I will put up on screen a picture of what the Ice Queen lettuce looked like when it was in its prime. So you can see there really is a huge texture difference, and the way that it grows is entirely different once it is at the end of its process and looking to throw seeds so that the next generation of lettuce plants can come up. The kale, this is a red Russian kale, and it is still doing incredibly well in the heat. Obviously they taste better in cooler weather, but this hasn't been too bad as long as I'm mainly using the newer leaves in my salad and on sandwiches. This is a green onion that is planted down there between the kale, and I've been using that in my stir fry. It's been really good, and it, you can see, is also a cool weather plant, so it is also going to seed. If I can shake some seeds out of this, I will. But they're really easy to propagate from grocery store cuttings too. That's where this came from. It was a stump from a grocery store green onion, and it's been really tasty. I had another one down in here. Oh yeah, yep, it's still there. Producing slowly but surely. My husband doesn't love green onions, so I'm the only one in the house eating them. There's been plenty for just me. I've got a few in the back too, and some chives. Confession time. I was very, very, very wrong. And I'm really glad that I double checked this before I made the big salad and took it to the family meal. because while the spinach and the kale still tasted okay, I mean, it's not as great as when the weather is more optimal for it, they're still totally edible and will taste fine with salad dressing. But this ice queen lettuce, I said earlier that it hadn't quite gone bitter yet, even though it was starting to produce flowers. This is where I was very, very wrong. I went ahead and tried it out just to make sure, because I ate some of this, I think day before yesterday, and yesterday must have been when it crossed the line, because it was totally fine day before yesterday when I had it in a sandwich wrap. And today when I put it in my mouth, it was awful. It's amazing that something could taste that different and come from the same plant 2 days apart. So that just goes to show the incredible chemical process that's happening inside this plant when it bolts and goes to seed. You can see I cut from the bottom there, so this is, it shot the stalk up taller and taller and taller and taller and produced flower. So that chemical process in this lettuce plant took those leaves that were very mild tasting, very pleasant to have in your meal, and made them so sour and so bitter that I could not even swallow the leaf. I chewed it up and I spit it right out because it was so bad. So, pro tip, anytime you are feeding other people homegrown produce, make sure you double check yourself, because it can happen that quickly. Now I return you to your regularly scheduled program. I have some buds coming on my mums, which surprises me. Last year I didn't have them until much later in the season, so we'll see what happens with that. And we're getting flowers on the bee balm. That's what those are. Isn't that gorgeous? This plant is not super happy in this pot. I think it's too small, especially for, this is now, I think this is a 3rd year plant, technically speaking. It really needs to be in the ground, and I just don't really have a place to put it. I might try to find a place on my back patio, next to my back patio. These are petunias. I put them in cups. You can see down there, they're just in little plastic cups until I can get them in the ground somewhere. I started them from seed, and it was a little bit difficult at first because they're very small seeds. They're like smaller than poppy seeds. And they were very delicate, but that didn't last terribly long, and they weren't that hard to deal with, actually. So I will definitely be doing petunias from seed in the future. Marigolds are having a tough time sticking it out. I had really hoped to have things in the ground out at the in-ground garden by now, but like I said, we're gonna work on that Monday afternoon. And my green stalks have also come in, so I'm gonna plant a bunch of this in those as well in the next 48 hours sometime. Those onions are definitely gonna go in my green stalks, and we'll see what they do. So this all came about because I came out to cut a bunch of lettuce. I figured since it's bolting, I'm gonna go ahead and take what I can get out of it. And I'm gonna make a big salad to take to a family meal tonight. And we'll just take a moment to have some gratitude for all of the wonderful food that this lettuce has given us. I gotta say, this is the tallest marigold I have ever had in this little raisin container. It's not looking so hot right now because it's been in that container too long, but I'm gonna probably take it out and put it in the ground either by my back patio or out at the in-ground garden, and we'll see what it does. And that is my front patio garden update for the moment. There is lots of activity coming soon. Like I said, I'm gonna reset this whole planter, and I'm going to put together those green stalks here. Probably tomorrow afternoon, I think, is the soonest I can get to that. It'll depend on rain too. It's been really rainy here, so it's made it difficult to get things done outside. It's only May and we're already having that kind of weather where you walk outside and your glasses fog up because it's so warm and humid. But you know, I'm not complaining. It could be 30 degrees outside and I could be wearing 4 layers of clothes because I'm a frost tender flower. The exciting thing is we are officially into tomato growing season. In fact, let me show you something real quick. Before we head out to the back patio to take a look at the few tomatoes that I do have planted, I wanted to stop and show you. This potato took forever to put out slips, but it is growing so much faster now that they're out and the temperature has warmed up. That just goes to show you, there's another one coming in down there. That just goes to show you how much sweet potatoes are very much a hot weather loving plant. Those leaves are just so vibrantly colored, I can't stop looking at them. And for those of you who are watching my long form videos but are not watching my shorts, I planted a bunch of basil too early this season. It was a little bit of a blonde moment, but what I did to buy myself some time was I just snipped the plants off at the stem and tugged the lower leaves off and put them in a jar of water. And basil grows new roots very easily. So they've just been hanging out here for the last couple weeks, and that's what a couple weeks looks like. Pretty wild, huh? They're very cool. They propagate the same way that tomatoes do. So this bought me the time without the plants having to be terribly stressed out, and I will just put them in soil and they will be happy and ready to go. This is Genovese basil, which is the most standard basil that you see most times sold in the grocery store. Very easy to get and maintain. Alright, I know I said we were going to go look at tomatoes. I keep getting distracted. This is my garlic that's out here in this planter. It's probably not too long before it's going to be ready to pull out, but something had chewed these bok choy seedlings to death when I first put them in here. That's a beet in the side there in the corner. And look at how well they have come back now, finally. They looked so small and so chewed up that I really wasn't sure I was going to get anything out of them. But they're beautiful now. So that's pretty exciting. They're in this corner of my patio next to the door gets much less sun overall. I mean, it's in full sun right now, but it really doesn't last long because of the way the shadow from the building is cast. This planter gets the least amount of light. These two get a little bit more. Nope, and look! You guys are the first to witness my first tomato flower of the season. I know a lot of people will pinch them off. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that flower on here because these are a fast-growing sweetie cherry variety and they will continue to grow. I'm not worried about leaving blooms on this early. God, that petunia looks like she's in better shape. The herb planter is happy. Oh God, those are more petunias around the side. I did put a nasturtium in there and I'm hoping that it will kind of lean out the side and put out some pretty red flowers and people walking by my patio will see them. Pardon my very loud air conditioning unit, it's hot. So this is all tomatoes and peppers that are going to go mainly in either my green stalk planters or in the in-ground garden. And here are the first tomatoes I planted. This is Principe or Principi Borghese. I know I'm not saying that right, but it's already, I'll put a comparison picture up on screen for you from how it looked a week ago today. So it is growing, it is happy. And this one, yeah, Prairie Fire. And it's got some nasturtiums in there. I think I am gonna put a little bit more soil in there. I didn't realize how low that soil level was when I filled the bucket up. So we'll give things a chance to settle in and grow, and I'll put some more in both of these. And my bok choy and lettuce is pretty happy out here. I'm gonna cut some more of this for that salad. And bok choy. I have been super stoked with how the bok choy has done this season. And we'll do a comparison picture too of this, side by side. 1 week apart. Micro orange hat tomato. P.S. Do you remember when I told you that things in your compost like to sprout? I don't know what kind of tomatoes those are, but there was tomato seeds in my potting mix apparently that got thrown in here. Or in produce that got thrown in here. I love volunteers. Volunteers are fun. I planted lettuce here. I did not get good germination. It was older dollar store lettuce seed, so that happens sometimes, but it looks like I'll get a couple good plants out of it. And that is a baby orange hat tomato. When the rest of this lettuce didn't come up, I went ahead and planted more orange hat tomatoes in those empty cells. So it looks like we got a couple showing their lovely faces to the world. And it's warm, so I expect they will germinate more soon. Those zinnias are looking dry. I'm gonna give them a drink here in a minute. So, garden time is officially upon us, and I'm loving it. Happy tomato season, everybody. It's here. I'm so excited. Are you excited? The season of the tomato sandwich has arrived. I want to take an opportunity to thank you guys for spending a few minutes of your day with me. More than a few minutes, really, if you stuck around this long, because I get distracted and excited. But here we are. And the weather is gorgeous. And I will see you in the next video on Caitlyn Things. Thanks very much, guys.